Hi, everybody. This is Jane Celia Hatch, targeted shaman, Bethesda Star. I had planned to do a video about Princess Diana today. I feel like she was a targeted individual. She was a high profile, targeted individual. And spiritually, I've always felt very close to her. And I actually feel like I had a soul contract with her before we were born. To write about her life, and I feel that with several other people. So I've researched her life for about 20 years. I went to England and talked to the British people. I interviewed people all the way from London to Brighton, Glastonbury, Northamptonshire, and I got some very interesting information. I've also read a lot of books and talked and watched a lot of YouTube, and of course done a lot of spiritual work with her. But I'm getting hit so hard right now today. They started a new thing where they're just with remote. I think it is remote neural monitoring now hitting my temples right here. They're very angry about a book I just finished. It reveals how family courts working with judges, lawyers, guardian ad litems, police, work to disable children and take them from loving parents and put them with often non-related parents or the abusive parents because they're using a Nazi-based trauma mind control system to disable them to um, potentially use them later on when the children are so disabled or they're in foster homes. They've been able to get the parents to suicide themselves or somehow get the biological parents or the loving parent out of the picture so that the children can be somehow used by the court systems. And generally speaking, it's for child sex trafficking. So the courts in this country, more often than not, I found, and it's not just my experience because I went through it, and I believe the only reason my daughters and I are alive is because of a spiritual intervention by my own spirit guides and my spiritual connections that I utilize. We all have the same power. We all have the same skills. We're all shamans. It's just atrophied. It's been kind of pounded out of us, and that's another part of the system we're living in. They don't want you to know how much spiritual power you have. We have enormous power, and so um, I just finished that book, and they're beating on me really hard right now, constantly hitting me, my temples. I think I may have been shifted from satellite-based directed energy weapons in Santa Fe, New Mexico. It's like a hotbed right now of targeting the gang stalking. It's a fusion center. There's a fusion center there. They have 5G. They have two resources for 5G now. They have helicopters. They have everything. Los Alamos is right there. We're right on the border. There's just such a mixture of people who don't necessarily feel an alliance to America, or there's more poverty, so you can find more gang stalkers. The military is also just really involved in that area. So I was getting hit by satellite-based weapons, and I could hear them on my car when I drove from Santa Fe to El Dorado. I thought it was sand falling from somewhere until I realized uh, the, the, um, the drone was above me. There was a drone that made itself very evident. Often, whenever I went out, and it was also over my house. So it was just, and I knew it was coming from outside. I could hear it banging all night on the many layers of protection I had to have in Santa Fe. And here I'm underground, and I think they may have switched me off to remote neural monitoring or they've always had me on it. They just activated it because it's easier for them to utilize the remote neural monitoring that it is satellite based weapons. So, um, I just don't have the mental acuity right now to put together the Princess Diana video, and I want to talk about her for many reasons. One is because I do feel she was a targeted individual, and I do feel she was assassinated by the CIA in collaboration with M16. I think that's the name of the UK intelligence. It was an international collaboration of the deep state. It wasn't just the UK. I think America was very much also involved in it, and I think Prince Harry knows about it, and I think it's one of the reasons he left the UK. In addition to the insane amount of pedophilia going on historically as well as recently, with Prince Andrew and a lot of their affiliates, Jimmy Savile, Bishop Ball. There's a long list of them. I just wrote an article about that, how involved the UK is with pedophilia. I mean, that's nothing new to most people, but it's all tied in. It's not separate from targeting all the deep state at the very top. You go from the Rockefellers down to the Satanists, the psychopaths that run a lot of the top companies, the top organizations. And I think we're also, right now, I believe this pandemic, and I've done the research, is another deep state operative. It's another false flag. And I won't go into that now. Again, it's just been a really rough day. I think there's weather manipulation going on. It didn't seem to be enough to ostracize everybody from each other and do the very psychologically damaging 6-foot social distancing in the mask. Any scientists worth their weight will tell you that a mask doesn't stop a deadly virus from entering into your mouth or nostrils. It just doesn't. It's otherwise, a lot of people would probably been saved from Ebola and all kinds of other diseases if they just had a mask, but that's not the way it is. It's just part of trauma-based mind control and distancing each other from each other. And I also think on top of all that, there's weather manipulation going on. We just had flowers bloom down here, and there was snow, and there was basically no snow all winter on the Cape. And it snowed last night. I don't know how much damage it's done. In Santa Fe, New Mexico, the same thing. Everything bloomed, the trees bloomed. There's so many fruit trees in Santa Fe, and they had a huge storm. I mean, 6 inches. So it's possible there was weather manipulation there. If you connect the dots, and I encourage everybody to connect the dots, research, see the bigger picture. Walmart in some places right now is roping off the seed section as non-essential. So just think about that. If you don't think this is a false flag and a global deep state operative, look at the details. Look, the devil's in the details. Why would they rope off seeds if this was a benevolent, helpful, deep, if they were trying to help us, why would they take away essentials? Why would they take away the earth? Why would they take away seeds? Why would fishermen be prohibited from fishing? In Tennessee, the tornadoes have made a lot of people homeless. I think that was weather manipulation. They're just, bam, 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 just trying to disable people as much as possible. And there's people there on the streets, that can't use their kitchen, and they won't let them into the restaurants because of the pandemic. Now, if that is an evil, I don't know what is. So look in the details of what's going on. I think there's weather manipulation going on. And in addition to trying to wipe out our natural food supply like fruits and vegetables, and they're trying to take away the seeds. So my Princess Diana video is going to be really interesting. I actually talked to her brother, and I'm going to talk about that in the next video. But again, like I say, and they're hitting me all day today pretty hard. I didn't go out. It was just so miserable. So the longer, the more you're in the house, the more you're not moving, the more you're going to get hit. And I don't know where my remote neuromonitoring, I believe it's a lot is coming from Shriver's Air Force Base. I believe I was put on remote neural monitoring by the Navy. A branch of the Navy Bath Iron Works shipyard that contracts to make ships for the Navy. They made the warships, the Arleigh Burke destroyers, and I was a reporter, and I covered what was happening there in regards to some corruption. And I also wrote a screenplay about Bath Iron Works using faulty parts in their Arleigh Burke destroyer. Anyway, I got on the bad side, and I think it was the president at the time that did it, Bill Hackett, because I also sort of rebuffed him. He was married, and he was sort of coming on to me, and that'll do it for most women. That'll get you on an FBI soft kill for sure. So it was the perfect storm for me, and I believe it was related to the Navy, and they've been using weapons on me for at least 20 years. Never so as intense as Santa Fe. So, but as a visionary and a shaman, I've seen where this is going, and actually it's going to a good place. It's going to not the new world order that they wanted, but a paradise Earth. And just wait. Don't wait for the galactic beings to come, as some people are sitting around waiting. Don't wait for Trump. I do believe Trump is fighting hard against the deep state right now. He wants us all to get back out. He wants to open up America again. And he's fighting hard against some of these psychopaths that are involved in this pandemic. But it's going to be up to us. It's really up to us. And coming from your heart and your center, and starting to speak out, like I'm doing, and I saw that the future, there's not going to be just we're never going to go back to where we were. And for targeted individuals, that's not a big deal. We don't want to go back to that. But we're going to go into eventually a paradise Earth. And I think that's one of the reasons we're all here now. We're warriors, and they know from our DNA, we're truth tellers. We can't be corrupted. And so we're targeted. And this is it. This is why we're here. So whatever you're meant to do, this is time to do it. And I'd like to get more audience. If you can share, like, comment, subscribe, that would be great. This is nothing new. We've been fighting these same people for centuries, whether it was you were in the Inquisition or one of the wars or the Holocaust. It's the same people, same battle. This time we're going to win. So lots of love.